friends, and welcome to If God Had a Podcast. I'm Pavlina Asta, and today we're going to be talking about change. That is something that a lot of us have been going through recently, especially with the pandemic, or for myself, I recently quit my job, and I know a lot of people have been looking into different career changes, but also just there's a lot happening in the world right now, whether we're coming out of the pandemic life, the quarantine life, and trying to re-enter in society. I know a lot of people are sort of struggling with that on different levels. You know, some are, we are out and about and we are free. And I know a lot of other people that are a little wary about going out and just brunching it up, or, you know, going to a party or whatever. So dealing with these changes is something that I thought was important to talk about, because I don't think a lot of people stop and take a moment to think about what we're dealing with, or, you know, coping with these changes, because they affect us in a lot of different ways. Our routines are changing. Maybe the people that we see on a regular basis are no longer the people that we're seeing, you know? It affects every part of us physically, but also mentally. And I was reading this really cool article in Psychology Today, which is sometimes I just wake up and I will read Psychology Today. Like, I'll just go on there, see if I can find some fun articles or anything that like really interests me. And this one that I found while I was sort of doing research on going through changes, coping with changes, expecting the unexpected, and just being able to like roll with those punches. This article was just 10 ways to cope with big changes. And because I feel like we're going through so many changes, I wanted to sort of address this because they had a lot of really good points. So the first one that they talked about, and I'll go through this very quickly because there's a lot of other things about change that I want to hit as well. This podcast will sort of be well-rounded in that sense, that I just want to cover a lot of different things, because obviously change happens in so many different ways and different forms, you know. But the first one is acknowledge that things are changing. And like I said before, a lot of times we don't take a second, we don't take the moment to fully process what we're going through, what the changes are, how it's affecting us. And you know, we sort of, or at least for myself, I rush into new things. Like, I hate starting stuff. I'm not good at it. I don't like the beginning phases of things because it's new, it's unfamiliar. I don't have a habit of doing it. Am I doing it right? There's all of these like changes that have to go along in that process. And you know, instead of just diving full force into something, you know, acknowledge that things around you are changing. You know, maybe you moved into a new house or apartment. Maybe you're starting a new job, or you just left an old job. Maybe you're seeing new people and not, you know, there's so many things in life where we don't just take the time to meditate and think about what's going on and acknowledge that, you know, we're entering a new or different phase of our lives, you know? And the next thing is realize that even good changes cause stress. This is what I'm talking about, okay? This is what I'm talking about. So there are so many things in life that can be so good, you know, like for me, and I know I've mentioned a few times already, but I quit my job, okay? Like, I was so happy to just leave and to finally be able to focus on myself again and finally like do the things that I want to do. But I'm like more stressed than I've ever been. I don't know. Yeah, you know, I've never been this stressed. And even when we are doing things that will improve us, will make us better, are going to be better for us in the long run even, that can definitely cause stress. So again, I'm saying, you know, take the time to have your self-care days. And, you know, actually the other day I got a massage, and I was realizing while I was being kind of like stretched out and worked through and all of those things, how I haven't, you know, since all of these changes have been going on in my life, you know, re-entering the world after a well, sort of re-entering the world. I don't know what's going on with this whole Delta variant, okay? But trying to get back into the world after living through New York City in 2020 has been a little difficult for me. It's been kind of a struggle. A lot of my friends moved away. A lot of my friends are still worried about not only the Delta variant, but also just, hanging out in a lot of, public settings or busy crowds. And I don't blame them. I totally get it. But I think even for me, just being in a crowd can stress me out sometimes. So it's like, it's good that we're re-entering, but it's also like finding that balance is really, really important, I think. But then taking the time to get your massage, get your nails done, have a facial, okay? Drink your water, kids. Just doing all the things while these changes are happening, good or bad, making sure that you're taking that time to have your self-care, your routine on point, okay? Because I think that's one thing that, I haven't been great with it, but going through all these changes, and it's been pretty difficult for me, at least mentally, and I think physically as well. Because another thing on this list that I thought was fascinating was try to eat as healthy as possible. And I've noticed, so I'm a stress eater. When I'm stressed, I need like milk and cookies because I'm a child, okay? It's so interesting that, while you're going through these changes, to not only take care of yourself mentally, have your self-care days, relax and realize that you're going through these changes, but also eat healthy and exercise, because I've noticed with myself even, and I am an active gym goer. I love the gym, okay? I love going. I love the people. I love the atmosphere. I love the energy. I love how I feel while I'm working out and how I feel, especially when I'm done working out. And while you're going through big changes in life, you not only kind of get off your routine schedule, but we tend to reach for a lot of carbs, breads, muffins, cakes. For me, it's cookies, okay? We may be reaching for those carbs and sweets because it actually boosts serotonin in your brain. And when you're undergoing change or stress, it's okay to soothe yourself with these comfort foods, but definitely in moderation, okay? Just being aware and making sure that you're getting the right amount of protein and greens and veggies, and just like fueling your body to not only propel you into being able to face these changes better, but also it'll help you when you're under stressful situations, because a lot of people when they're under stress take up drugs and alcohol. There's definitely a lot of research out there that proves, when you're stressed, you tend to drink more, or maybe you smoke, or, there's so many different things that people automatically reach for, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol, when they're stressed, that they'll sort of use that as a coping mechanism. And that's why, again, I want to talk about this, because and finding different outlets and different ways to help you go through these changes and help you sort of have an easier time, while you're easing into these transitions and changes, because it can definitely be difficult. So, okay, quick recap. We're going to eat healthy, keep the carbs and the sweets to a minimum, but make sure you're getting those greens, proteins, and fruit, to really help fuel your body while you're being, you're under stress or you're going through these changes. Of course, limit the alcohol and smoking if you can. I know it's difficult, guys. I know, okay? I love my espresso martinis too, okay? But your whole body will just feel so much better, and she will thank you. He will thank you, whatever. Your body will thank you if you take care of it properly and you are being very intentional on what you're putting in your body, okay? And try to keep some sort of routine that, maybe that you had previously, working out, getting to the gym. And also, something that I realized while I was definitely going through, I turned in my 2 weeks, and it was that first week and a half of me not being at my job, I needed a lot of support, mostly from my family and some of my really close friends, to just sort of tell me I did the right thing. You know what I mean? I was just I just need someone to reassure me or like, be there to listen to me on whatever it is that I was going through. But having some support during that time is so, so important. And another thing that I think is just really important to go through while you're going through changes is to write everything down. I swear, my mom always tells me I need to be writing everything down, whether it's an experience, whether I'm going through something, whatever it may be. I mean, there's a plethora of things that you could be going through and where writing it down or journaling could really help. Well, let's just say, for example, you quit your job, because I can talk about this. So I know that I recorded, how I was feeling the day before I turned in the resignation letter, the morning of, like the next day for work. How I was feeling was just very relieved, nervous, scared, excited, all of the things. And I was able, not only do I remember those feelings so much more now, I remember it because I wrote it down, because I did videos on it. My gosh, if you ever decide to do this, text me, call me, beat me, whatever, like get a hold of me and I will help you walk you through this, because there are so many things you need to learn. You can email me at pavlinaasta@gmail.com, or my socials are all at pavlinaasta, and feel free to reach out if you're going through any kind of changes that you're sort of struggling with, because I'd love to either help or guide you in some way, or maybe offer you a piece of advice. Something that I noticed is like you have like these ups and downs, right? Like you have your ups where you're feeling really good about the changes and you're feeling like you've got everything under control and you've got this, right? And you're definitely going to have those low periods. And sometimes it's easy to stay in the low periods or to let the negative thoughts and the doubts sort of enter your mind. And this is where journaling not only will ground you, but it will also just, you are able to read, that first day that the change happened, or the first time that you felt a certain way. And I think just being able to relate back to those feelings and being able to read back on how you were feeling, say a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago, really helps, honestly, because you see your growth, you see how far you've come, and that's just a beautiful thing. So those are some basics, I think, about dealing with change, coping with some change, and, finding ways to be elastic, keeping your routine. But I also want to talk about being comfortable with the uncomfortable, because like we talked about, change is one of those things that even if it's positive, it can cause stress. And a lot of people don't like to feel uncomfortable. It's why they don't like working out. It's why they don't like starting a new job or, making new friends, is because it can be uncomfortable sometimes. So something that I, did was, while I was prepping for this, was I wrote down some things that I thought would help everyone realize, how to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. So I think the best thing to do is, you're never going to be ready. So you might as well just not wait for the perfect time to do whatever it is that you want to do. So getting started is the most difficult part. And I think that's why I hate it so much, is because it is difficult. It's so hard. It's easy to keep up with a routine once you have it. Just getting started, because that's the most difficult part. People are all talk until they do something. So the time is now to start what it is that you want to do, because just getting in that uncomfortable space, just forcing yourself in is the best way to do it. But also embracing the failures. And honestly, I don't even really believe in failure, okay? Because everything that you're doing, there's no such thing as failure. Why is that even a word? We should just abolish the word failure, because everything, maybe not completely, whatever. Okay. Everything that we do, whether we succeed, quote unquote, or fail, quote, we learn from it and we become better from it. Everything we do is an experience, and everything is part of our journey and a part of our lives, And that sounds super freaking cheesy, but it's true, I don't think whether you drop out of college or, you don't get the job that you wanted, or you don't win the award that you wanted to get, you never finish that thing, like, that's fine, chill the heck out. Like, you're fine. You're going to be okay. You're going to finish it eventually. You can always go back to school. You can always apply for more jobs. You can always get the award next year because you're learning, you're improving. Maybe you didn't get that job because you don't have enough experience. So go out and get some more experience. Maybe you didn't get the award that you wanted to get because you weren't the best. So become the best, okay? Like, you can always become better. You're already uncomfortable. So you're already going to start to nitpick yourself and doubt yourself, and the negative thoughts are going to come in, and then you're going to be having anxiety, and then you're going to get depressed, and you can just spiral. It's a very easy place to spiral, and people don't like that, obviously. So embracing the fact that this is new, I have no expertise in it, I am not, the master of my craft just yet, and understanding that, everything is a learning opportunity, everything is an experience, and that the fact that you'll get better, so just embrace that, and I swear you will have such an easier time with your new endeavor. Of course, building a community is always helpful, being able to talk to experts or, even people that have had similar situations to what you're doing is really, really helpful. So I hope those two, 3 things really help you sort of be a little bit more comfortable in the uncomfortable. Another thing I want to talk about is giving yourself grace. Giving yourself the kindness to be understanding with yourself. Ultimately, that will help with the frustrations that you may feel, the doubts that you may feel. When you're going through big changes, you need to focus on your purpose. Like, what is the purpose of this change? What is the universe, God, whoever, trying to teach me? What am I trying to get out of this experience? Instead of getting frustrated, instead of getting angry or mad at yourself or whatever it may be, giving yourself grace, and it actually totally ties back with what I was saying before about having self-love during this time, because you're going through all these changes, you don't know what's coming next, and that self-love is how you can give yourself grace. Because ultimately dealing with change takes a lot of courage to be able to leave your house and do something else, or leave the job and go somewhere else, leave a relationship and, maybe fend the world on your own. Like, all of that takes so much courage. But you can have courage without self-love, and that's not the best way to go about it. Self-love is how you give yourself grace. You really have to think of it as a home, with a foundation. So the foundation of a home, right? It has to be strong. It has to be sturdy. It has to be able to hold up the walls and the frames, and that foundation has to be strong. And I actually talk about it in my book. I talk a lot about self-love. My book is 20 Things Every Motivated 20-something Should Know. You can get it on my website, pavlinaasta.com. I talk about being brave, having courage, but also self-love and how that is the foundation. Because when your base, when your floors are solid, you are able to build the walls, build the extra layers and the other floors and it's going to be sturdy, because you can always go back to that self-love, and you can always go back to taking care of yourself and knowing what you ultimately need. Having self-love, having the courage to go after and do what it is that you want to do, and making those changes. Oh, babe, you're doing all the things, okay? You're doing all the freaking things, and that's amazing, So while you're going through these changes, realize how courageous you're being, realize that you need to, self-love, I think, is more important during this time. So put all of that in there. Drink your tea, go for a stroll or for a walk if you need it, take a hot shower to refresh yourself, take a bubble bath and buy a few bath bombs to treat yourself, just find ways to make yourself happy. Have a little glass of wine if you need it. Wake up early, meditate, journal all of this, and you will get through your changes and you'll be able to cope with what you're going through, and it all works out for the better, okay? It always does. And you know, the beautiful thing about changes is that typically whatever kind of change you're going through, you're letting go of your past self and you're changing, or you're turning it in for a newer, upgraded you. And that's super cool, you know? I love change. I had a really hard time saying that just now because I don't always love it, you know? But learn to embrace it and learn to love it. I'm trying to learn to love change in all the different ways. But yeah, so you've been listening to If God Had a Podcast, and I'm Pavlina Asta. It's been great chatting with you. I really hope you learned something. I hope that, you know, this helped you with, you know, whatever changes that you may be going through, or any kind of struggles that you could be having. And if you want to reach out, if you want to tell me your thoughts and comments or concerns or anything that may be on your mind, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. Like I said, my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, are all at Pavlina Asta. My email is pavlinaasta@gmail.com. And my website is pavlinaasta.com. All super simple, super easy, very consistent. We love that. And again, you can get my book, 20 Things Every Motivated 20-something Should Know. It's a blueprint and a guide for people to succeed not only in life, but also in their careers. And you know, I say it's for 20-somethings. I have had so many people come up to me that are in their 50s and 60s, and they've read the book and it's helped them in a lot of different ways. Drink your water, go for a walk, get lots of sleep, take care of yourself so you can be a better you for a better us.